There comes a season in every person's life when they pause, look around, and ask themselves, why hasn't it happened yet? You've prayed with faith, waited with patience, cried in silence, and done everything you knew how to do. Yet somehow, it feels like the world keeps moving forward while you're standing still, watching others receive what you've been believing for. But hear this truth. When it seems like God is silent, He's not ignoring you. He's preparing you. Every delay in your life carries divine intention. Every door that stayed closed, every prayer that went unanswered, every moment that felt like nothing was happening. Each one has been God's way of shaping you for the blessing He already designed for you. So trust His timing. Because when the appointed moment comes, not even the tallest mountain or the strongest force can stand in the way of what God has destined to be yours. Sometimes God will hold you back, not to punish you, but to protect you. He knows the weight of the blessing you've been praying for. He understands the size of the miracle you're waiting on. And He also knows that if He gave it to you before your spirit was ready to hold it, the blessing could break you instead of build you. That's why His timing is flawless. God's timing is never too early and never too late. It's always perfectly right on time. The problem is, we live in a world addicted to speed. We want quick solutions, instant results, overnight success. But God does not move according to the ticking of your clock. He moves according to the unfolding of His plan. What you think is a delay is often divine alignment. What looks like a setback is actually God setting you up for something much greater. There's a reason you're still in this season of waiting. There's a reason some doors remain closed no matter how hard you knock. God is testing your faith in the waiting room of destiny. It's easy to have faith when the blessings are flowing, when prayers are being answered, when everything makes sense. But true faith, deep, unshakable, spiritual faith, is born in the silence, in the unseen, in the stillness where nothing seems to be moving. It's in those moments that God whispers, "Trust me, trust that I am working behind the scenes. Trust that I have not forgotten you. Trust that I know exactly what I'm doing." Because while you are waiting, God is arranging every detail of your destiny in ways your eyes cannot yet see. There are blessings that only time can deliver. You may not understand waiting right now, but one day you'll look back and realize why it had to happen this way. One day you'll thank God for every closed door, every delayed answer, every moment of silence. You'll see that the waiting was never wasted. It was working. God was developing your strength, stretching your patience, teaching endurance, and deepening your trust. He was removing the wrong people, revealing hidden motives, and refining your spirit, so that when the blessing finally arrived, you'd have the wisdom and maturity to carry it with grace. If God had given you everything you wanted when you asked for it, you would have missed the lessons He was trying to teach. Sometimes God allows doors to close, so you'll learn to lean on Him and not on your own understanding. Sometimes He leads you through dry valleys, so you'll truly appreciate the rain when it comes. Sometimes He tears down your plan so He can reveal the beauty of His. And when His plan unfolds, you'll realize every tear, every prayer, every restless night was worth it all. Faith isn't built in the comfort zone. It's built in the space between what you see and what you believe. Real faith grows in the tension of trust. And when you choose to trust God's timing, you're saying, "Lord, I may not understand what you're doing, but I know you're doing it for my good." That kind of faith, quiet, humble, unbreakable faith, is the most powerful kind of all. It's the kind of faith that moves mountains, the kind that tells your anxious heart to be still even when everything around you is falling apart. It's the kind of faith that says, "God, I refuse to rush ahead of you. I'll wait right here until you tell me to move." Because when you trust God's timing, you're not losing time. You're aligning yourself with destiny. Maybe you're in a season right now where everything feels delayed. You've been praying for that breakthrough, waiting for that healing, hoping for that opportunity, longing for that open door. You've prayed until your voice grew quiet, until your tears ran dry, and still nothing seems to shift. But hear me. Just because you can't see what God is doing doesn't mean He's not doing anything. God often performs His greatest miracles in silence. The roots of a tree grow deep beneath the soil where no one can see them. But that unseen growth is what allows the tree to stand firm when the storm begins to rage. In the same way, God is growing your roots deep in faith. He's strengthening your foundation so that when your blessing arrives, you'll have the wisdom and strength to hold it and not lose yourself in it. There will be moments when you feel forgotten, moments when heaven feels quiet. But God never forgets his own. There isn't a single prayer you've prayed that went unheard. There isn't a single tear you've shed that he hasn't counted. He's seen your patience, your endurance, your quiet perseverance. And just when it seems like time has run out, God will move suddenly. Blessings will pour out like rivers flowing through a barren land. The same God who held the sun still in the sky, for Joshua, can hold your promise in place until you're ready to receive it. The same God who lifted Joseph from prison to the palace in a single day can lift you from obscurity to favor in an instant. But it will happen only when the time is right. You can't rush God's plan. The moment you try to force things in your own strength, you step out of alignment with his will. So many people miss their blessing because they try to make it happen before its season. But anything built outside of God's timing will eventually fall apart. When God opens a door, it will be effortless. You won't have to chase, beg, or manipulate. The opportunity will meet you where you are because God himself will orchestrate it. Your job is simple. Stay faithful. Keep sowing seeds even when you can't see the harvest. Keep praying even when you can't hear an answer. Keep walking even when the path ahead isn't clear. Because God's delay is never his denial. There's a rhythm to his plan, a divine sequence that can't be rushed or rewritten. You might not see it yet, but everything in your life is quietly falling into place according to his perfect timing. So don't panic. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. What's meant for you cannot pass you by. The blessing with your name on it will find you, no matter where you are, no matter how long it takes. God has already written your story. He knows exactly when the chapter of waiting ends and the chapter of fulfillment begins. Your role is to trust him through the turning of the pages, because patience isn't weakness. It's strength in disguise. It's the courage to stand firm when your emotions scream for you to give up. It's the choice to pick faith over frustration, peace over panic, and trust over timing. God always rewards those who wait on him. Waiting is not punishment. It's divine preparation. And when the moment finally arrives, when God releases what he's been holding for you, the blessing will overflow with such abundance that it will make up for every tear, every prayer, and every year you spent waiting. The blessing that's coming your way won't just meet your needs. It will overflow into the lives of others. You'll look back and realize that God didn't just make you wait. He made you ready. There's something extraordinary about people who learn to trust God's timing. They walk with a quiet strength, carrying a peace that confuses the anxious world around them. While others rush and panic, they rest. While others worry, they remain calm, because they know deep within, when their appointed time arrives, nothing and no one can stop what God has already ordained. The same God who commands the rising of the sun and the turning of the tides is the same God in control of your timeline. You don't need to stress about the when or the how. When God decides it's time, it will happen. And when it happens, it will happen suddenly. So suddenly that you'll stand in awe and whisper, "Only God could have done this." Sometimes God delays your blessing on purpose, so that when it finally arrives, everyone around you will know, this wasn't luck, this wasn't chance, this was God. He will often wait until your resources run out, until your strength is gone, until your options are completely exhausted. Then, in that very moment of surrender, he steps in and turns everything around, not just to answer your prayer, but to prove his power, because he desires to be glorified in your story. That's why you can't rush him. That's why frustration during the waiting season is dangerous. It blinds you to what he's building within you. When God moves, he doesn't just give you what you ask for. He gives you more than you ever dared to imagine. Right now, some of you are standing in front of closed doors, wondering if they'll ever open. Don't lose faith. God may be keeping that door shut, not to deny you, but to protect you. Perhaps what's behind it isn't ready yet. Or maybe, just maybe, you're still being prepared. But when the preparation is complete, the door will open, not halfway, but wide. And in that moment, you'll understand why the wait was worth it all. Because the right door open at the wrong time can lead to disaster. But the right door open at the right time, that's destiny. That's why timing matters so deeply. God's timing doesn't just protect you. It perfects you, it positions you, and it prepares you for what's ahead. Some blessings simply take time to mature. Just like fruit on a tree, if it's picked too early, it won't taste right. Some blessings in your life are still ripening under God's light. You must let Him finish His work. You must trust that while you wait, God is preparing your future, aligning your opportunities, and softening the hearts of the people tied to your destiny. So don't despise the waiting. Don't curse the delay. Every moment you spend in the waiting room is part of your divine development. God is doing far more behind the scenes than your eyes can comprehend. If you could see what God sees, you'd understand why the waiting is necessary. You'd see the unseen dangers He's protecting you from. You'd see the hidden traps He's already dismantling before you arrive. You'd see the people He's preparing to bless you, the circumstances He's arranging, the path He's clearing long before you take the first step. That's why Scripture says, walk by faith, not by sight. Because faith declares, even when I don't see it, I still believe it. Faith whispers, even when it hurts, I still trust His hand. When you walk by faith, you are walking in divine rhythm, in perfect alignment with God's timing. The truth is, God's timing often feels slow to human hearts. But slow does not mean silent. Slow does not mean still. God is never idle. He is always intentional. Every second of your waiting season is filled with purpose. He's not withholding your promise. He's refining your endurance. He's refining your heart in the waiting. He's teaching you to lean on Him completely. Because once the blessing begins to flow, you'll need the maturity that this season of waiting has built inside you. God doesn't just prepare blessing for you. He prepares you for the blessing. That's why the wait often feels long, because He's not building something temporary. He's building you to last. There will come a moment when everything shifts. One divine moment can undo years of struggle. In a single breath, God can restore what was lost, repair what was broken, and revive what was forgotten, all in His perfect time. You won't have to chase the blessing. The blessing will find you. It will meet you right where obedience kept you standing. That's why you must remain steadfast. Keep doing what's right, even when no one notices. Keep believing, even when there's no visible progress. Because God's reward for faithfulness is far greater than you can imagine. Some of the greatest blessings in your life will arrive disguised as delays. When your plans fall apart, when doors close, when people walk away, it's often not rejection but redirection. It's God's unseen hand guiding you towards something far greater. So trust the detours. Trust the pauses. Trust the silence. Every no from God is protecting you from a lesser yes. Every delay is setting the stage for something far beyond what you've been asking for. The blessing that flows in divine timing will not only satisfy your heart, it will elevate your spirit, restore what was broken, and confirm that God has been with you all along. You might feel weary from the waiting. You might feel like you've prayed the same prayer 1,000 times. But don't stop now. Don't give up when you're this close. Because the moment when you feel like quitting is often the very moment right before your breakthrough. God's blessing is closer than you think. The night always feels darkest right before dawn, but dawn always comes. And when it does, the pain of waiting will be no match for the joy of receiving what God has prepared for you. So hold on to your faith. Keep trusting the one who holds time itself in His hands. He knows the exact moment to turn your mourning into dancing, your trial into triumph, your pain into purpose. When the blessing begins to flow, it won't come as a trickle. It will pour like a flood. You'll see sudden favor, divine connections, open doors, and opportunities that no human hand could have created. You'll look back and realize that every delay, every disappointment, every heartbreak was leading you to this divine moment. You'll stand in awe and whisper, "Now I understand." You'll see that what you once thought was a detour was actually the direct path to your destiny. God's timing will reveal itself to have been perfect all along, and His blessings will overflow into every part of your life. So don't let impatience steal your peace. Don't let comparison rob you of your joy. Your story is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. The same God who hung the stars in the heavens is guiding every single step you take on this earth. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are standing in the very place where preparation meets promise. Trust that. Rest in that. Because when the appointed time comes, the blessing will overflow, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you truly trust God's timing, you release your need for control. You stop fighting for outcomes that are already settled in heaven. You stop questioning the process and start believing in the promise. You begin to realize that waiting isn't wasted when it's done in faith. Because when the blessing finally arrives, it carries the fragrance of divine purpose, a reminder that every second of waiting was worth it. God is never late. The blessing will flow exactly at the appointed time, and when it does, you'll know it was all by His hand. Let me tell you something profound. Waiting on God is not a punishment. It's a privilege. Too often we treat delay as denial, but in truth, those seasons are divine workshops where God shapes our character, refines our patience, and prepares our spirit for what's to come. Every silent night, every unanswered prayer, every season that feels stagnant, none of it is wasted. It is all part of a heavenly process guided by God who already knows what you need before you even ask. The world rushes, but God moves with precision. While people hurry toward results, God orchestrates purpose with flawless timing. That's why patience rooted in trust is so powerful. There's a difference between waiting aimlessly and waiting in faith. The one who waits in faith is not idle. They're sowing seeds, preparing their heart, and building endurance for the moment God says, now. Waiting in faith is active obedience. It's saying, God, I may not see the path, but I trust your steps. I may not hear your voice, but I know you're speaking in silence. That kind of trust protects you from acting in desperation, from stepping into something before it's time, or chasing blessings that aren't meant for you yet. God uses waiting to test your devotion. Many want the promise, but few want the preparation. Everyone desires the blessing, but not everyone wants the refining that makes them ready to receive it. Remember this. The blessing isn't only about abundance. It's about readiness. God won't give divine treasures to unprepared hands. He wants the blessing to change you completely, not just temporarily comfort you. There will be seasons when heaven feels silent and God seems distant. But His silence is not His absence. It's His strategy. It's in the silence that faith matures, roots deepen, and trust is proven. True faith isn't measured in comfort. It's measured in endurance. It's not built in ease, but in storms, setbacks, and uncertainty. You must choose to believe when every visible sign tells you to stop. You must hold on when logic tells you to let go. Trusting God in the waiting is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the fleeting from the eternal. God never acts impulsively. Every move He makes is intentional, strategic, and divinely aligned. When the moment comes and He opens the door, no one can shut it. When He releases the blessing, no force on earth can block it. And when He shifts your life, you will know, unmistakably, that His timing was perfect all along. That is the power of divine waiting. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. And soon, when the fullness of His plan unfolds, you'll look back and say, now I see why I had to wait. Uncertainty does not mean abandonment. You are not forgotten or left to wander aimlessly. You are being positioned, aligned, and prepared for a breakthrough so powerful it will leave an eternal mark on your life. Think back to the seasons you've already walked through, the trials, the disappointments, the unanswered prayers. At the time, you may have questioned God's timing, but now you can see the wisdom in His delays. Every setback carried purpose. Every delay was a divine appointment in disguise. Those moments built your strength, deepened your faith, and shaped you into the person capable of carrying the blessing that's on its way. The blessing may seem distant, but it is closer than you realize. God's work within you is often invisible, but its results will echo into eternity. So, hear me clearly. Do not resent the waiting. Do not fight against divine delay. Embrace it. Use this sacred time to cultivate patience, integrity, and unwavering faith. Let it strip away distractions that pull you from purpose and refine your heart so that when the blessing finally comes, it won't be wasted on the temporary. It will fulfill eternal destiny. Those who trust God's timing do not fear delay because they understand that delay is the furnace where faith is forged. God's timing is never random. It is a masterpiece designed to reveal His glory. When blessings come too early, People often credit luck, talent, or effort, but when they arrive at the perfect divine moment, when every detail aligns beyond human explanation, all can see that it was God who made it happen. Your life becomes living proof of divine precision, a testimony of what happens when a person surrenders their own schedule and fully submits to the will of God. Let me remind you, there is no circumstance too heavy for God's hand, no obstacle too strong for his power, no delay too long for his perfect plan. You may feel weary from the waiting, unseen in your faithfulness, or forgotten in your prayers, but God has not overlooked a single moment. Every tear you've cried, every act of obedience, every whispered, "I still believe," has been seen and recorded by the Almighty. And when the appointed time arrives, he will release blessings so abundant they will exceed your expectations, flood your life with favor, and establish you in ways only his wisdom could accomplish. The key is surrender. True surrender is not weakness. It is strength under divine control. It is releasing your need to force outcomes and allowing God to write the story in his way and his time. Surrender says, "God, I trust you even when I cannot trace you. I believe you even when I don't understand you." It is the ultimate expression of faith, trusting that the unseen hand of God is always at work, even in silence. That kind of surrender positions you for overflow. And understand this, when the blessing comes, it will do more than satisfy your personal needs. It will empower your purpose. It will not only bless you, it will make you a blessing. The abundance that flows into your life will spill into your family, your community, and your generation. God's timing ensures that blessings arrive not only for you, but through you, to impact lives and advance his divine plan. The one who truly trusts God's timing doesn't just receive, they multiply, they inspire, they walk in destiny. And when you ask, "How long must I wait?" the answer is simple: wait as long as God asks you to. The waiting itself is part of the preparation. Each season is shaping you, strengthening you, and setting the stage for what's to come. Because when God finally says, "Now," everything will shift, and you'll know it was worth every moment of the wait. The waiting season is never empty. It prepares you, molds you, and teaches lessons that can be learned in no other way. Every delay is divine education. Every pause a moment of holy preparation. So remain vigilant in faith, steadfast in prayer, and unwavering in righteousness. Do not let doubt blur your vision or fear control your decisions. God's timing is approaching, and when it arrives, it will not be partial or uncertain. It will come in fullness, strong, undeniable, and perfectly aligned with his plan. It will not come a second too early or a moment too late. It will come with divine precision. You see, God does not measure time as we do. What feels like endless years to you is but a moment in his eternal timeline. What seems like delay is divine coordination. Heaven does not rush because it never needs to. God's timing is flawless. That's why waiting is never wasted. Every second of patience carries purpose. Every moment of stillness holds meaning. Waiting refines you. Patience strengthens you. Trust anchors you. You are not falling behind. You are being aligned. You are not losing time. You are gaining preparation. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned for a blessing that will exceed your wildest imagination. And when the blessing comes, you will know it. It will not whisper. It will roar with divine confirmation. Doors will open that no hand can shut. Opportunities will unfold that no human can manufacture. Favor will descend like rain, soaking every part of your life. Provision will multiply in ways that defy logic, and everything that once seemed delayed will arrive in overflowing abundance. You will look back and understand that none of it was in vain, that every tear, every test, every prayer uttered in faith was part of God's masterful design to bring you to this exact moment of breakthrough. So stand firm. Stand firm in your trust. Stand firm in your faith. Stand firm in your confidence that God's timing is never off course. Do not rush him. His pace is perfection. Do not question him. His wisdom is infinite. Do not despair. His promise is sure. Your blessing is on its way. It may seem delayed, but it will never be denied. It may take longer than you hope, but it will come in completeness. It may demand patience, but when it arrives, it will make every second worth it. God is not slow. He is strategic. He is aligning circumstances, preparing people and positioning you so that when it happens, it cannot be undone or misunderstood. When his hand moves, it moves with power. When his word is fulfilled, it brings overflow. When his favor descends, it multiplies beyond measure. The blessing will come pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So let your heart be strong. Let your spirit be steadfast. Keep your eyes fixed on the one who holds galaxies in his palm. Trust him, for he has never failed. Wait on him, for he knows what is best. Believe in him, for his timing is flawless. When your appointed time arrives, you will see how every moment of waiting, every season of silence, every unanswered prayer was perfectly orchestrated. You will realize that the delays were not denials, but divine protection. You will understand that God's ways were always higher, his view broader, his plan greater. Listen carefully. Blessings are often delayed not because God is distant, but because his wisdom is deeper. Human sight sees a moment. Divine sight sees eternity. We reach for what is immediate, but God prepares what is everlasting. Every no, every pause, every closed door is not rejection. It is redirection. God's timing is your shield when you cannot see the battle. It is your guide when the path looks uncertain. It is your provision when everything else seems dry. And those who truly understand this truth find peace in the waiting, even in the middle of storms, even in the silence, even when nothing makes sense. Because they know when God finally says now, everything changes. And in that moment, you'll look back and say, every second was worth it. Clip number 8. Those who trust in God's timing stand unshaken by circumstance because they understand that the author of the universe is writing their story, and no power on earth can alter what is already ordained. This is a truth you must anchor in your soul. Blessings do not arrive when you want them to, but when you are ready to handle them. God's purpose is not just to give you abundance. It is to prepare you to carry it with wisdom, humility, and strength. The blessing that comes before preparation can destroy, but the blessing that follows faith, patience, and surrender will sustain, empower, and elevate you. Waiting in God's timing is not delay. It is divine development. It is heaven's classroom where your spirit, mind, and heart are refined. Through waiting, God molds you into a vessel strong enough to hold the magnitude of what he's preparing. Some blessings can only be entrusted to those whose patience has been proven. God does not reward the hasty or honor the restless heart. Impatience births mistakes, and rushed decisions often lead to temporary victories that end in emptiness. But those who wait upon the Lord experience favor that endures, blessings that overflow, and peace that cannot be shaken. So never despise the slow unfolding of his plan. Every divine promise ripens in its appointed season, not at the whim of your desire, but by the wisdom of his design. A tree does not bear fruit the day it's planted, and a farmer does not demand an instant harvest. The process requires patience. The seed must be planted, watered, nurtured, and exposed to both sunlight and storms before it can produce fruit. Likewise, your life follows a divine rhythm. A time to plant in faith, a time to water with perseverance, and a time to reap in abundance. Your labor is not in vain. Every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered, every act of obedience you've offered, they are all seeds being sown into divine soil. And when the appointed season arrives, those seeds will burst forth with a harvest that far exceeds your expectation. This is why steadfastness matters. It's easy to trust when the path is bright, when prayers are quickly answered, when blessings seem near. But true faith is forged in the waiting, in silence, in confusion, in the long nights when it seems heaven has gone quiet. That is where trust becomes unshakable. That is where God proves himself faithful. Those who remain steadfast in the storm will witness miracles that defy human logic. They will see opportunities appear from nowhere. Resources multiply beyond reason, and doors swing open that no hand could have forced. Every obstacle, every closed door, every delay, it's not a denial, it's a divine pause. God is perfecting what concerns you, ensuring that when he acts, his work will be complete, his timing exact, and his blessing irreversible. The world glorifies speed, but God values alignment. People chase immediacy, but heaven honors readiness. You may think success is about moving fast, but in God's kingdom, success is about moving in sync with his will. The blessing that comes too early can crush you, but the one that comes in divine timing will crown you. So trust the difference between your timing and God's timing. Submit to it. Rejoice in it. For His timing is not just better, it's perfect. And when His perfect moment arrives, you will see that every second of waiting was necessary, every season of silence was purposeful, and every delay was divine preparation for a blessing that no force in this world can stop. Because the blessing that arrives in God's perfect timing will exceed every expectation you have ever held. There will come a day when you look back over your seasons of waiting and stand in awe of the wisdom in them. You will recognize how God's hand was present in every closed door, every delay, every trial that seemed unbearable. You will understand that what felt like stagnation was actually spiritual growth. What seemed like emptiness was preparation. What appeared as silence was actually divine orchestration at work. In that moment, your heart will overflow with gratitude because you will see with clarity that God's timing is always flawless, always intentional, and always perfect. Trusting God's timing is also a shield for your heart. It protects you from disappointment, from chasing things prematurely, and from grasping opportunities, relationships, or positions that are not yet ordained for you. Impatience tempts us to seize what is not ours, which can lead to hurt, loss, and regret. But when we wait on God, when we trust His timing, we are preserved. We are kept from false starts, from premature choices, and from opportunities that would have brought only temporary gain. We are positioned to receive exactly what is meant for us, blessings that cannot be taken away, removed, or diminished. The blessing that comes in God's perfect timing is transformative in every sense. It is not just material or temporary. It is spiritual, emotional, and eternal. It will deepen your faith, expand your understanding, and broaden your vision. It will empower you to rise above every trial you have endured. It will remind you that God has not forgotten your prayers, that your faithfulness has been noticed, and that your obedience has not gone unseen. This is the essence of God's perfect timing. It blesses, elevates, and it glorifies Him. I want to challenge you today. Do not be swayed by impatience. Do not be shaken by what you cannot see. Do not despair because the blessing has not yet arrived. The God who governs the heavens and the earth governs your life. His timing is precise. His ways are perfect. His plans for you are purposeful and good. The delay you feel is not a denial. It is a preparation. The waiting period is not a punishment. It is a blessing in disguise. And when the blessing comes, it will flow into your life with power, abundance, and favor that only God can orchestrate. Remember this. The person who trusts God's timing walks in peace. They do not fret. They do not worry. They do not succumb to doubt. Their faith is rooted in the unshakable truth that God's plan cannot fail. Their patience is strengthened by the certainty that His timing is flawless. Their joy is deepened because they know what is coming is worth every single moment of waiting. So I urge you to embrace your season of waiting with faith. Do not rush. Do not manipulate. Do not force what is not yet ready. Align yourself with God's perfect timing, and you will discover that the blessings He has promised will not only arrive, they will overflow. They will restore what has been broken. They will empower your spirit. They will elevate your life. They will confirm that God's hand has been guiding you all along, and they will leave no doubt that His timing is always perfect, always precise, and always for your good. They will elevate you. They will confirm that every tear you shed, every act of obedience, every moment of patience, and every prayer whispered in faith has been part of God's divine orchestration. Hold fast to your trust in Him. Remain steadfast in prayer. Stand firm in your faith. The blessing is coming. And when it does, it will come in abundance, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. God's timing is perfect. His blessing is coming. And when it flows, your life will never be the same. Hear this clearly. Your life is in the hands of the Almighty. There is no force, no circumstance, and no delay that can thwart His perfect plan. Every trial, every season of waiting, every moment of uncertainty has been carefully placed in your path for a purpose. God is shaping you, guiding you, and preparing you for a blessing so great it will exceed all that you can imagine. Though you may not see it now, the foundations of your future are being laid. Doors of opportunity are being aligned, and streams of favor are gathering strength. poised to flow into your life at precisely the right moment. Do not let doubt rob your peace. Do not let impatience derail your faith. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the voice of the one who knows all things. Stand firm. Lift your heart in trust. Surrender fully to God's perfect timing. Examine your life honestly. Are there areas where fear, worry, or impatience have taken root? Are there parts of your heart that have yet to be fully yielded to God's guidance? Let this moment mark a turning point. Let today be the day you renew your commitment to patience, faith, and complete trust in God's plan. Walk with confidence, knowing that God has not forgotten you, that your prayers are heard, and that your obedience will be rewarded. Live each day in faith, knowing that every step, every decision, every sacrifice aligns a divine timeline far beyond your understanding. Let your life become a testimony to the power of trusting God, a living witness that His timing is flawless, His wisdom incomparable, and His blessings unending. Now rise with courage. Let your heart overflow with hope. Let your spirit embrace patience with joy. Let your faith remain steadfast and unwavering. God is preparing a blessing that will touch every area of your life. He will restore what was lost, fulfill every promise, and lift you to heights you have never known. Stand tall, walk boldly, trust fully. The flow of God's blessing is coming, and when it does, it will pour over you abundance, favor, and divine glory beyond measure. Your season of waiting is not wasted. Your trials and tests are not in vain. The God who holds the heavens and the earth holds your destiny in His hands. Trust Him, follow Him, obey Him, and watch as your life is transformed by the unstoppable, overwhelming, and perfect flow of His timing and boundless blessing.